Welcome to the Unit 2 video on the percent equation, calculating percentages. Question 1. The number 32 is what percent of 160? To solve this problem, we'll review the percent equation. The percent equation is notated by a percent times a base, which equals an amount. For these questions, we'll be multiplying some sort of percent times a number to get another number. To solve these questions, I like to take the word sentence and convert it to a number sentence. I'll show you what I mean. First, we'll take the first three words of the sentence. The number 32. Well, that tells me to write down a 32. The next word is. Is in math always means equals. So instead of writing is, I'm going to write an equal sign. The next two words, what percent? This tells me that I'm solving for a percent. So I'll write percent here, since this is what I'm searching for. The next word is of. Of in math always means to multiply. So I'll substitute that word for a multiplication sign. 160 is simply a number, so I'll write 160. Now I have the number sentence 32 equals percent times 160. Now I want to solve for the percent. I'm going to rewrite my equation, and I want to get the percent by itself on the right-hand side. Since 160 is being multiplied by the percent, I'll do the opposite and divide by 160 on both sides of the equal sign. The 160 cancel on the top and bottom, and I'm left with the percent equals 32 over 160. 32 divided by 160 is 0.2. Now I want to write this as a percent. So to convert the decimal into a percent, I need to take the decimal and multiply it by 100. So my answer becomes 20%. Therefore, the number 32 is 20% of 160. Question 2. The number 145 is 25% of what number? Again, I'm going to convert this word sentence into a number sentence. So first, let's take the first couple words. The number 145. Well, this tells me to write down the number 145. The next word is. Is means equals in math, so I'll write down an equal sign. 25% is a number, so I'll write down that value. Of means to multiply, so I'll write down a multiplication sign. And what number means that I'm searching for that number. I don't know the value. So instead of writing the word number down, I'm going to instead write a question mark. This just makes it simpler to work with. Now I want to get the question mark by itself on the right side of the equation. So to do that, I'll need to divide by 25%. But I need to first convert the 25% to a decimal in order to divide. So next, take 25% and divide it by 100 to get a decimal of 0.25. Now I have an equation of 145 equals 0.25 times a number. Now I need to divide both sides of the equal sign by 0.25. Therefore, my missing value is 145 divided by 0.25. When I do that on my calculator, I get a number of 580. Therefore, the number 145 is 25% of 580. Question 3. What is 12.15% of 68? First, I'll convert this sentence into a number sentence. What means that there's a missing value. So I'll place a question mark for the missing value. Is means equal sign. 12.15% is a number. Of means multiplication. And 68 is another number. Next, I'll rewrite this sentence so that the percent is written as a decimal. Remember, to convert 12.15% to a decimal, we need to divide by 100. This will give me a value of 0.1215. So my new equation is the missing value equals 0.1215 times 68. Since my missing value is already by itself, I can just simply multiply these two numbers together. When I key this into my calculator, I get that my missing value is 8.262. Therefore, 8.262 is 12.15% of 68. Question 4. 25.5 is what percent of 250? I'll convert this word sentence into a number sentence. 25.5 is a number, so I'll write that down. Is means equals. What percent identifies my missing value? Of means to multiply, and 250 is just a number. So I have an equation, 25.5 equals some number times 250. Now I want to get the missing value by itself on the right side of the equation. Therefore, I can divide by 250 on each side of the equal sign. The 250s cancel on the top and bottom, and I'm left with the missing value, which equals 25.5 divided by 250. When I key this into my calculator, I get a value of 0.102. Now remember, the question asked me to find a percent. Therefore, I'll take the decimal value 0.102 and multiply it by 100 to get a percent of 10.20%, or 10.2%. Therefore, 25.5 is 10.2% of 250. Question 5. The number 423 is 35.25% of what number? I need to convert this to a number sentence. The number 423 means that I'll write down 423. Is means equal sign. 35.25% is the number, or the percent that I'll write down. Of means to multiply. And what number means that I have a missing value. Now I'll solve for the missing value. You'll notice I have a percent in my equation. To solve this, I'll need to convert the percent to a decimal. Recall that to convert a percentage to a decimal, I simply need to divide by 100. So this becomes 35.25 divided by 100, which is 0.3525. I'll substitute that into my equation, and I get 423 equals 0.3525 times a missing value. Next, I need to divide both sides of my equation by 0.3525. These cancel on the top and bottom. 423 divided by 0.3525 is 1200. Therefore, the missing value is 1200. And I can write the complete sentence. The number 423 is 35.25% of 1200. Question 6. Carl bought a house in 1999 for $110,552. In 2014, he sold it for $350,000. The selling price was what percent of the original price? The last sentence in my problem describes a percent equation. So I'll take this word sentence and convert it into a number sentence. The selling price, the first three words of the sentence, is $350,000. So $350,000 equals what percent, my missing value, of multiplication, the original purchase price, which was $110,552. To find the missing value, I'll divide both sides of the equation by $110,552. We can divide using our calculator, so we get that the missing value is 3.16593. We're solving for a percent, therefore I need to take my decimal value and multiply by 100. My answer then equals 316.59%. If I wanted to round to the nearest percent, I would say that this was 317%. Question 7. Summarized on the right is the scale in thousands of the top 5 products in 2004. Use this information to calculate what percent of the sales of these 5 products was due to product B. I want to find what percent of sales the 5 products was due to product B. Therefore, I need to find the total sales of all 5 products. To find the total sales, I'll add up each of these values. We can input this into a calculator, and when we add these together, we should receive an answer of 7,179. So all 5 products together, there were 7,179 products sold. Step 2, we need to identify product B. Product B sold 2,109. Next, I'll create a percent equation to solve the question. The percent equation is the percent times the total sales, which equals product B. Now I'll plug in the values that I found in steps 1 and 2. The percent is my missing value. My total sales is 7,179, and product B was 2,109. To get the missing value by itself, I'll divide each side of the equal sign by 7,179. When I input this into my calculator, I'll get that the missing value is 0.2937731. Now I want to find a percent. Therefore, I'll take the decimal and multiply it by 100. I get a value of 29.377351%. Next, I need to round to 2 decimal places. I'll look at the third decimal place, which is a 7, so I need to round the second decimal place up 1 digit. My final answer is 29.38%. This concludes the Unit 2 video on the percent equation.